everybody. Welcome to I'm Not a Fan Unless I Have a Podcast. I'm John Hanford, and today is July 1st, the day that I'm recording this intro. The actual episode that you're going to watch or listen to today was recorded on May 21st. So for those of you watching, the rest of this podcast will feature me with shorter hair. It's I just feel like I wanted to get that out of the way. We've this was a really fun conversation. Right now, in terms of what's happening at the moment, in the 6 weeks since this conversation took place, we're in the midst of a pretty fucking crazy ass time, which is not that's not a very jarring thing to say. It seems like we're at a consensus. Shit's fucked, and I just hope that everybody listening or watching is doing all. I'm just hoping that you're doing all you can to stay healthy, stay positive, and not let this eat you up. It's crazy. Like, even though the days and weeks all sort of blur together, and it's tough to. It doesn't really feel like that much time has passed. It's just important to stay on the subject, I guess, because I forgot where I was going with that sentence. I'm not even high, and I just fucking forgot where I was going. But maybe don't think of it as like getting lost in a maze. Think of it as more of a labyrinth. You follow, because like a labyrinth, you're always on your way to the goal or whatever. It might feel like you're winding around, moving, going the wrong direction, but no, you're ultimately on the right path. So I don't know, just have faith that shit's gonna work out. I hope you guys are all taking this as a positive thing, and not like just like, oh shit, Hanford's really bumming me out now. I hope that's not what's happening. This was a really fun conversation. I'm just really exhausted, honestly, because I'm recording this at night. It's been a long day. I've been packing. I'm about to, beginning tomorrow morning on July 2nd, when this episode comes out, I'm going to be driving up the Pacific Coast to Seattle from Joshua Tree. I'm going to spend about 6 at least 6 weeks. I think I'm going to be back like late August. And I'm just going to spend some time with my family. Nobody's sick. I just miss my dog, and I really want to go see her. Also, it's way more comfortable weather-wise in the Pacific Northwest than it is in the desert in July and August. We've been dealing with a ton of, a whole bunch of triple-digit degree days, and it's fucking hot at night, so it's hard for me to sleep down here. And what is life if you can't get a good night's sleep, right? So I'm gonna go up to my parents' place and sleep with my dog, because she fucking loves me, and it's just a way better. It's just nice, it's a nice thing. You don't need reasons other than that it's just nice. Anyway, I'm going to stop babbling here. Let me introduce you to my guest today. We got Nick, who's he lives in Nashville primarily, but at the time of the call, and maybe currently still, he was quarantining in Kansas City with his family. So he's a musician, so we talk a lot about our influences in music. And he also plays in a band called Starship Pilgrims. And yep, got that name right. So yeah, without further ado, here is Nick. All right, we're recording now. So yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. This is it's
No
good to have you.
problem. Thanks for having me, man. This is great.
Yeah. So you're based in Nashville?
I am. Currently, I'm in Kansas City, which is where I was born.
Oh, cool.
Spending some time with my family, but yeah, I'm based in Nashville as like a residence for sure.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So like I've done just very light Facebook stalking. So you're also a musician?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Nice.
I play in one band right now, called Starship Pilgrims, like a jam band, but it's good times
Nice.
for sure. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember like what was this like maybe a year or 2 years ago or something. Somebody in the Gizz fan page on Facebook. I think I want to say they were based in Nashville. It might have been you. I'm not sure, but like it was just a duo, just like a guitarist and a guy on a mandolin, I think. And like at some
Okay.
point they threw in like a little what do you call it? Like they,
Was it
they
Gamma
they
Knife?
they played a Robot Stop a little bit, like just in the middle of a song. Was
I
that
know
you?
them.
Oh, okay, yeah,
No, but I know them. That's Mike and Zach. They're
cool.
friends of mine. They're kind of in the bluegrass scene down there.
Yeah. They were playing some bluegrass and then just threw in some fucking Giz. It was awesome. Um,
We played a show with them one time, and that was my first time ever hearing them do it before that they did that video. And I was like, I think I was the only person in that venue that was like, yeah, man. And I picked up on what they were throwing down. But yeah, I remember going up to them after that and being like, that was badass. You guys killed that shit. So that was cool.
yeah, it's weird. Like, so do you play any gigs on your own, just like covering their stuff,
Um,
like when you're playing gigs?
we've covered People Vultures.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
we've done that a few times and it's in like entirety, but we haven't done any other ones. We've jammed the river a few times, but never live, just for fun.
Yeah,
And I guess I covered Sense on a live stream a month ago, and that was cool. But otherwise, no. I started learning Crumbling Castle recently, so maybe that'll be the next one I either do with the band or not. I don't know.
yeah. I've also been working on Crumbling Castle, just on acoustic guitar actually, just because like it's the action is so fucked up. Like I desperately need a setup on the acoustic because like in
Yeah,
regular standard tuning, it just buzzes like crazy. However, when I have it tuned down to C sharp, it plays fine. So I've got it like that's just my C sharp fucking death metal, single cutaway Ibanez acoustic. Um,
yeah.
but
That's not a bad thing, man.
no, it's great. Like Crumbling Castle actually sounds pretty good on it. So
Cool.
yeah, that and Intercell. But anyway, but yeah, like I was just asking, because like I play like I play a lot, just like open mics and stuff, just around where I live in Joshua Tree,
Yeah.
and like I play a lot of Giz songs just to see like, hey, maybe I can make a friend. Like maybe somebody in the crowd will is also a Giz head. I don't want that misconnection. So I played Billabong Valley one time
Mhm.
at the saloon, and some chick was just like at the bar. She was like, "Yes!" And it was like it was the weirdest thing because I was just like, "Oh my god!" This is, like, because she was really hot too. So I was like, "Okay, wait." So, oh my god, this is so cool. So then I was like, "You like that one? Wait till you check this out." And then I started playing Sense, and she was just like, "I don't know what the fuck that is." So, it,
You're like, cool.
yeah. I
That's
was like, "All
awesome.
right," but
I remember we played this festival called Space Camp. It was like in the like eastern Tennessee. It might even been in like North or South Carolina, like right over the border.
yeah.
Um, but it was on this guy's land, this farm, and we did People Vultures. And one of our buddies' bands, Cosmic Shift, they were side stage and like out of our view, and we went into that first lick of People Vultures, the dun 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 dun, dun, and like I just see like almost like he did like a 180 turn and like exposed himself from the side stage, and it was the bass player of that band, and he was just like losing his mind. And I knew that they liked his, but it was cool. It was cool seeing that sort of reaction. Good times, you know.
Yeah, especially just like I don't know. There's just something like when Giz is played, it's a huge deal. Like even though it's like we all understand they're a growing band and they have like, you know, what is it, like 600,000 plus monthly listens on Spotify. Like they're
Yeah.
doing okay,
Right.
but still, like whenever you hear them like in a bar or something or a restaurant, it's just like, oh my god, like you guys hear this? It's fucking Giz. Like you never hear them on the radio or anything, like other than KEXP and a few select others. But like I don't know what that is. You have any ideas?
It's like I would probably like associate it with, like, I know like not all bands are like this, but like at least these bands maybe started out like this, but like cult bands, people that have like cult fandoms, like Giz. But like I guess back in the day, like the Dead never got much radio play, you know? Like maybe they got like Truckin' and Touch of Grey in the later years.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't really get like commercial
At least on
success until
main,
the 80s.
I'm sure like college radio was playing them and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
at least like it's my impression that they weren't getting played too much beyond Truckin' and maybe Friend of the Devil on the mainstream radio. Now like Giz doesn't really get any, I guess, play, but that also makes them kind of special and unique for us. It's kind of just something just for us.
Yeah, and that's something I've been thinking about, like ever since I did actually hear like they played Crumbling Castle at this sports bar I went to in Seattle, and like I think they just had it on Pandora or something and whatever. But I like I signaled to my friends, I was like, you guys hear this? This is my favorite band, and they're just like, all right, and I was just like, okay, what if everybody just knew Giz? It wouldn't be that special. Like it'd be like, all right, cool, got good tunes, but you wouldn't lose your goddamn mind on a Thursday night, you know?
Right. And I think something that's kind of special about Giz is their at least for me, whenever I first heard them, it took like a little bit to like realize that they were one of my favorite bands. Like actually, like it took like time of listening, like putting that time in. And maybe that's it with like certain people. Like maybe some people will never get it or like understand it or like it, but then some people, you know, like it just takes a little bit of time for them to hear it a few times and it'll catch their ear on another listen, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean that's definitely been true of me on a certain level with Giz, but with a lot of other people I've talked with on this podcast, like you know, one guy first heard them in like 2014. Thought they were pretty okay, and then didn't listen to them again until 2017.
Right.
And it's just like it just takes a little while, but like, you know, now he's a big enough fan that he comes on the podcast. So it's like,
Right.
you know, it just takes, everybody's on a different timeline, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's cool. I heard them in 2015 with Paper Mache first time. Yeah. And then I've heard Nonagon. I thought that was great, but it just hadn't like, I was really into the Dead and Fish at the time. That was like, like blinders looking at that stuff. But it wasn't until 2017 towards the end that I was like with Polygon and Gumboot Soup, honestly, that it just like, and then like all of their previous work clicked for me too. Like completely. Like I was like all in on this band.
Yeah, and, it's so crazy. Like when you reach that, like I don't know, what do you call it? Like Gizz Nirvana, where it's just like, I get it now. Like everything that they do is great. Even though you might have played favorites at the beginning.
Right. It's cool. It's like listening to like Nonagon and like I was like, man, I've never heard anything like this. This is like a never-ending record. You know, you can just like keep listening to it over and over again, and just like the I didn't really, I guess like krautrock might be what you would associate this kind of tendency with, but just the constant drums and the constant beat, just like moving forward, we're just grooving through it. That was so fresh to me at that time. Like I wasn't listening to music like that, where it was just that constant beat. There was always like breaks or times where like the drums would just like slow down and maybe, I don't know, not necessarily slow down, but stop. You know, there'd be times where there was break, but like, it wasn't until like that progginess came in that I was like, oh, like these guys can really fucking play.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Polygon's Wonderland was the first album that I heard them. heard from them, and
Okay.
because like my friend had just told me about them like late 2017, and Paulie had just come out like a week or two before. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. These guys can definitely play. Like, I knew my friend wasn't giving me a bad recommendation. But it took me a while to figure out, like, are they actually really fucking awesome, or are they just being fucking weird to, like, stand out?
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, no, they're actually just being themselves. And
Yeah.
um,
Totally.
yeah, but yeah, like with I think like Flying America Total Banana was the first album that I like really just couldn't put down. Like I
Mhm.
just loved the way that flowed through and just like hypnotized me. Um,
Totally.
yeah, it was like just trance rock. It was really weird.
That was like just something that I never even, I mean, like, never thought about it really, that the microtones and, and especially in like popular music today or contemporary music. Um, it's, I don't know, it was so cool, so unique. And that was something that, like, between Nonagon and Polygon, um, it's like I was listening and I was touching on those records, but when it clicked, like towards the end of that year, it was like an overhaul of just like musical nirvana, like what you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And I remember the KEXP, the Murder the Universe one.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
when that came out before Polygon, I was really into that video too. I'd probably watched that a million times. Countless. It's
Yeah,
too good.
yeah. So I first yeah, so pretty much like right after I watched or after I listened to Polygon Land, I was like, all right, I need to see what these guys look like. Like that, and anytime I hear a band that's just like, all right, this is fucking different, I need to see like what's their setup on stage, like how do they play, like it gives
Mhm.
me like a another glimpse into their soul. And uh, so then I first thing that comes up was this gig they played at Webster Hall in New York, and they opened with Open Water, and I was like, oh, okay, like yeah,
Yeah.
this they're fucking just playing little things how I put it together is like they probably were jamming one day, and Stu's just playing that open note, and
Yeah.
then just like all comes together. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm into this. Uh,
Totally.
and yeah, so then right after that I watched the KEXP Murder of the Universe set, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fucking banging.
Yeah. Totally. And it's just two completely different sounds, and they're just doing them at such a quality level, and
Mm-hmm.
that just shows the relentlessness of them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's what's crazy. Like there's one thing, it's one thing to be experimental and just like putz around with new ideas and stuff, but like to
Mhm.
actually have a fully formed concept and turn that into a record and execute it like masterfully is just like it's upsetting on a certain level, because it's like I will never be able to replicate that, like that kind of just sheer prolificness. I don't know the fucking thing, but
Yeah, no, totally. I get you.
yeah, it's yeah, it's like it's maddening because like I want to understand it completely, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, there's got to be something you guys can't do, like you're all human, and
Right.
it's like I don't like to idolize anybody or anything. I'm just like we've all got an Achilles heel. Like what is it for them? And
It's just funny that it's like we don't know that yet because they keep just pulling back that curtain. Just the curtain gets a little bit bigger, and we get to see more into what they can do, musically and like thematically. I love the themes, lyrical themes, and stories that are being told throughout their music. It's Nobody's doing stuff like that. Nobody's talking about monsters really. You know.
yeah, I mean there's like I mean, I want to say just based on the album art that like the OCs have some element of fantasy in their music.
Totally. Totally.
Um, and like I haven't really gotten too into them. I listen to their stuff every once in a while, and I've seen them live and stuff. I like them, but like they don't captivate
Totally.
me the same way as Gizz. But
Right.
like I know without like there would be no Gizz without the OCs. Uh,
Right.
and
Totally.
Yeah, and like I wonder. I mean, like I think just what it comes down to is like Stu just happened to also be into fantasy stuff,
Mm,
but
yeah, and like his love for like Lovecraft and all that, and like
yeah,
the stories. Um, it's cool. Like I've always grown up as like liking sci-fi and like horror movies and stuff like that. So it's cool. And I like metal music, so it's all like horror music, you know. And this like band touches on kind of like two of my loves of like jam psych stuff and this kind of um, horrific scenery, you know, terror, like you know, like I don't know.
yeah,
It's cool. It puts me in another world, and you get to like play in that world, which is sweet.
totally. And what was it like with you know with the final song of Murder of the Universe,
Yeah.
like just that uh gratuitous description of vomit and just like all of that is just like, oh my god, like I thought like, okay, I think we got the point, and then it's like, no, Hantayumi is still going to go on for another 2.5 minutes just talking about the sound it makes as it hits the floor, and then some.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's so deep into that, in just that idea, and I love that. That's so cool. I remember the other day I was showing my friend that exact song, but it was the Chunky Shrapnel
oh
version,
yeah,
which is insane. I love when the double bass comes in; it just drives that home for me. But I was reading him those lyrics because he couldn't fully understand what they were saying,
yeah.
and he was like, "Well, that's insane." I kind of blew his mind a little bit. I think, you know.
Yeah, well, it blew mine as well because like I saw them play it for the first time in when they played LA last summer,
Mm-hmm.
and uh and like that was the first time I had ever really seen, you know, seen the whole lyrics and everything, because they have the video in the back on the backdrop and everything, so you can follow along. And I felt, and that helped me a lot. Like I guess I'm not the best audio listener, or you know, audio learner. Um, but then like I looked it up at home. I didn't realize that they had turned that they actually had a video
Yeah,
on YouTube of that whole thing.
of the whole Hans Hayumi and the Murder of the Universe
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Starting with Digital Black and then into Vomit Coffin and then yeah, Murder of the Universe. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, like that video itself. Like I'll just get stoned at night and just watch that as I go to sleep. Like it's just it's a
it's
real
so
fucking trip.
relaxing and comforting.
In a way, it is like
I
you know,
hear you.
like if I haven't washed my sheets in a little while, like yeah, my bed is kind of my vomit coffin. It's
Yeah, it's our pillar of sweat.
it's fucking disgusting. It's
Yeah, that's what's up. Now that video is something that I had heard the record, you know, earlier, but it was more recently when I actually watched that video, and it's pretty dope. I had seen the Lord of Lightning one and the Balrog, right when that came out, but I don't know how I missed the other one. But I think the other one hit more for me later, after that record had come out for a while.
yeah.
Um, at least that story, as opposed to the Altered Beast and the Lord of Lightning stories.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny how they packed 3 stories into that record,
Mm,
and um, it's just it's weird how long it takes to process each one.
yeah,
Like I still don't fully understand all of it, but like I'm working it out. You know, it's
right.
like because there's anytime I listen to Gizz again, I always pick up just new little intricacies, just in their songs and you know, music. And it's like it's usually music stuff, so the lyrics sort of fall by the wayside for me sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, eventually I'll get it.
Mhm.
But you mentioned the Balrog Lord of Lightning video. I actually didn't even know that existed.
Oh
So
yeah,
I've got a little more YouTubing to do.
it's great. It's great. No, and like I like the split. They do a pretty cool like cinematography split between the two songs, and it's they're both great.
Yeah. You look like a guy who trips on occasion. I like have you ever
What's
had?
that?
No, you look like a guy who takes a lot of psychedelics, or at least some on occasion. It's
Once in a while. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, it's that was just a way to segue into this, but like in each of my last like I don't know how, yeah, I guess like 3 or 4 mushroom trips. Like I've I found myself like in the center of the Gizzverse. It's been really bizarre. Like basically, like I'm not even listening to their music, but I'm just like, well, this is what they're talking about. Like I'm getting all these fucking insights and everything. I'm just like, this is all Gizz. It's
Yep. It's like,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
no. I'm just babbling now.
I've found that, like, I don't know, the last time I tripped, I don't know if I actually even listened to Gizz, but it was on mushrooms. We were listening to music and we were doing this hike, and I don't know, I remember that it's been like a year, to be honest with you, since I've tripped, but I remember that being an extra special trip. I space it out, try not to do it too much anymore, but
Yeah,
it's
I usually try to like do no more than once a month, but like it's been much less frequent than that. It's just that last week I had like just a mind bending fucking mushroom trip.
yeah.
So it's still really fresh in my mind.
That's good. And what is your go-to Giz record, I guess, whenever you're tripping?
It really depends. Like I mean, paper mache is always a fun one. But Polygon Dwanaland I've actually found is like really really good. Sketches too.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, oddly enough, Flying Microtonal Banana is I've not enjoyed that one when I when I've been tripping. Um, like it's a little too ominous, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it sends me in. Like I guess it maybe it is like those microtones. They send me into like this weird vortex. So
Yeah.
yeah, but like stuff that's just like layered, you know, like polyrhythms and yeah, I like that shit. Nonagon Infinity is great. Um, but oh, actually, you this is my favorite album for tripping. Uh,
Okay.
Rainbow by Kesha, her 2017 album.
Okay.
Fucking good. I mean, like even sober, it's a great album. But like when I'm tripping, like that shit is guaranteed to take me on an excellent path. Uh,
Word. I'll have to check that out.
yeah, like she's actually like now that she doesn't have a rapey producer and she's actually doing all of her own shit. Like she's a fucking amazing musician, and like I'm like real. I'm all in on Kesha. Like she's fucking awesome.
That's
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but
I know of Kesha, but I've never. That's not. I haven't listened to her very much beyond what I've heard on the radio. So
yeah,
I'll give
and,
that one a listen for sure. Rainbow.
yeah. So just like the album all the way through is it's fantastic because it's like it starts with just like a simple acoustic song that develops into something more, and like yeah, she explores like a bunch of different sounds on that album. So that gave me like a really good vibe about her and just like how experimental she is.
Cool.
And yeah, so it's yeah, I relate a lot to Kesha.
Right
Just
on.
in terms of like personal growth throughout my 20s and shit. um
Cool.
but yeah, so that's a great tripping album. uh
Right on. I'll check that one out. I've been. You listen to like Crosby, Stills, Nash. A lot of that
oh
type of
yeah,
music.
I grew up with them, yeah.
The Four-Way Street album. It's a live album, and it's like 1970. That's
Uh-huh.
one of my favorites. Like their vocal harmonies on like Guinevere and Lee Shore and Triad between Crosby and Nash.
Yeah.
That's just like perfect tripping material, as David Crosby's first solo album. If I could only remember my name. If you've not
Oh,
listened
word.
to that, couldn't recommend it more.
That's a good call. Yeah, it's really weird like how many just like all the different musical backgrounds of Gizz fans. Because like I was talking with a guy I met out at a bar, met at a bar out here. He was telling me about like his favorite band was like before Gizz was Hawkwind, which was one of Stu's favorite, you know, fucking space rock bands. Um, and like I had never heard of them or anything, but then you know, I started listening to them, just like I could see that. And then yeah, like with Crosby, Stills and Nash, like that's a fucking great like, you know, foundation to have, you know, before you get into Gizz.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to think of like, yeah, I mean there's just so many others. There are a lot of like jazz heads that got really into Gizz. Um,
Yeah.
I've talked with a lot of people who really really like Sketches, and Quarters is all right, and
Right on.
um,
I think
yeah.
it's cool when you go to the shows, the diversity of the fans.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the everybody from punk rockers to blue collar just got off work, jam
Yep.
band fans,
And metalheads. It's like
metalheads. Yes.
it's every and that's something else that I've learned about metalheads is just like I've never had a problem with them, but
Mhm.
I never realized just how much like how fucking nice and cool they are. Like
Absolutely.
like in just in general, like I would much rather hang out with an aggressive looking metalhead than like somebody who just kind of likes Kenny Chesney. They like cruising to his songs.
Yeah.
It's like fucking be interesting, you know? Like
Totally. Yeah. No, I grew up listening to metal, but like that was like I guess that was very surface level stuff. Not like still great stuff, Metallica, Slayer, thrash music.
yeah, yeah.
But thank God I have a buddy Cam, and he's showed me the way on more like newer metal that I enjoy. Like I probably wouldn't have liked it because of the vocals. Like I used to not like the Cookie Monster, real fucking heavy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But as you mature, it's funny how things just adapt. And I think honestly, King Giz has helped with my more motion into heavier music lately. Because I was
Same.
so with bluegrass music, jam music, very chill genres for so long, and I still love that stuff. But the King Giz is just, it's like reawoken that part of me that whenever I first started getting into guitar and I was playing like fast, Metallica songs, that but it's awesome. It's great. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, because yeah, like I would definitely say that they've reawoken my inner metalhead. Because like I was into metal for like I was into new metal for like a little bit when I like 2004 2005, like I was a freshman in high school, and like 'cause it was fucking bizarre. Like one of my best friends, he just found like a burned CD on the ground, put it in his Discman, and it happened to be Slipknot's first album,
Whoa.
Iowa, which
Yeah.
was like a fucking badass album. So we just listened to it, not because it was actually a badass album, but just because just like, this is fucking evil and we're evil so we can be cool. We're fucking retarded. And like but yeah, so then I went to Ozfest that year.
Word.
And that's where I got my first real exposure to like metalheads. And I saw this fucking idiot just in the row in front of me with a Lamb of God tattoo.
Uh-huh.
And this is in 2004. You are familiar with the band Lamb of God?
Yeah, I am. I don't listen to them like regularly, but I know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like a real reach for a tattoo. And like I was like, I don't know if I love metal this much.
Right.
But like I did see, like I saw Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Black Label Society, Iron Maiden, and Black Sabbath. Like it was like those were the fucking that was an insane fucking show.
Right. Damn,
Especially because Iron Maiden blew Sabbath out of the water. Just like Sabbath couldn't follow them. Like it was, and Ozzy was fucking pissed too. Like there was a lot of drama that I got to see, and because like a week later, Maiden got kicked off the tour. So
damn.
It was a lot of bruised egos there.
Dude, I bet Ozzy is a little bit jealous of Bruce running over the stage as much as he does. He's like,
and talking shit. Like,
was he talking shit?
Yeah, well, because we were peak Iraq invasion at the time, and Bruce Dickinson was calling all that shit out. And one thing that's interesting is it is interesting because like a lot of metalheads are these uber blue collar like right wing people, and like I understand that to a degree because it's like, yeah, these people have fucking feelings and a soul. This is how they're going about it. Like it's like yeah, because they don't have good country anymore. they got to find where the soul is, and that's metal. And
Yeah.
that's my interpretation. But
I
yeah,
feel
so
that.
Bruce Dickinson's talking a bunch of shit about the military, and and these people are fucking furious.
Oh
So,
well, you got to pick your battles, man.
oh yeah, totally. Like I, as a fan of all of it, I have no regrets. I think like everything played out just as it should have
Oh yeah,
with
totally.
regard to that tour. Um, oh god, that was a fun time.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
What was the first time you saw Giz? Where was that at?
2018. I so that and that was before I had officially decided that they were my favorite band. But after that first show, I was like, okay, yeah, this is paradigm shift. And
Yeah,
yeah, so I saw them in June 2018. They played 3 shows at Brooklyn Steel. I was living in New York at the time, and
cool.
yeah, so like I saw them play their first and third show. I didn't go to the Saturday show because I had to be up really early Sunday morning. But
Word.
yeah, it was great. Like yeah, I got to see Rattlesnake twice. I got to see the River in full, and then Amyl and the Sniffers was opening for them.
Cool.
And oh my god, they're so fucking awesome live.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And have you seen them?
Yes, yeah, I have. I caught him on that tour twice. So I've seen Giz 4 times.
Oh, sick.
Total.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen them 5 times in total, and the last time I saw them, I wasn't really. It wasn't that great because just a bunch of people around me were talking, and I was on
Yeah.
acid, so I was focusing on them. And
Oh, that's a bummer.
yeah, but yeah, like I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I got to see, but so at the end of the third show in Brooklyn, Amyl came back on stage, and they and Giz fucking played Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap
Oh shit.
to fucking close out the weekend. Because like originally that concert, or like that like they were only going to be playing 2 shows, and then they added a third because the first 2 sold out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I went to the first show alone, met a bunch of Giz heads, including the person who told me about the fan page,
Cool.
and then a couple other people I keep in touch with. And yeah, and then the third show I went with my friend who, like, now we're really good friends, but like at the time we were dating, and
Yeah.
and she had a shit day at work, and I was like, you want to get some tickets off StubHub and see Giz? And she was like, sure, why not? Let's take mushrooms too. And yeah, so it was fucking amazing. And
Cool. Cool.
yeah,
And that was at the Brooklyn Steel show? The
yeah,
third one?
yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I really, because like they recorded and released the recording of the second Brooklyn Steel show where they played Head on Pill to close it out.
Word.
But like, and like that was a great set. But like, I really wish that they had played or that they had recorded the third one to release, because like, yeah. And I remember they had film crews during that weekend.
Yeah.
And because at the, like, somebody, like, I think there were some rumors about there being a Giz documentary in 2018, and like with all these
Okay.
cameras I saw around the stage, like I figured that would make sense. But then
Right.
nothing's come of that. So I have a feeling that that's just stuff they're saving in the archives for a later date. But
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. That would make sense
Oh,
to me, because like, what the fuck happened to that footage? You know?
yeah. No, it's somewhere. They're saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah. And with all this unpredictable shit like a pandemic, and you know, with Chunky Shrapnel and all that,
Right.
it seems like and like with the bushfire relief concerts that they released on Bandcamp,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they're, you know, they always have something in the bank, like,
Yeah. They've
and it,
saved up all that energy.
yeah, you know, and like if it's not Giz, it's the Murlocs or Pipe Eye, and
Right. It's like any of those bands on that label, they're all amazing, you know?
yeah,
I recently got into Traffic Island a lot. Like their newest album, the Peanut Butter.
I
You're
still have
out.
yet to get into them, but
It's
I'm
cool.
gonna do that.
It's chill. It's like it's very good, like meditational music or just drive-in music, very relaxed. Sunny day music, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely some of that. Like Babe Rainbow is great for that.
Hmm.
And they're not on flight list, but Krungbin is like my favorite for just like long desert drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit's good.
Have you heard their new single? They have two
Yeah,
out now.
yeah. They got two. I've listened to both of them. I think I like the second one better. The B side of that single.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I've heard the second one once, but I've listened to that first one a good handful of times, and I like it all. They can't do no wrong.
Yeah, and what was cool about Time, I think it's called Time You and I.
Mhm.
It's yeah, that is a like that was interesting to me because they're using more vocals. They're getting a little more experimental with like actually using their voices in their music, which is yeah, like I just love seeing how bands develop their sound. You know?
Totally. I think that song, it kind of harkens back to Evan Finds the Third Room, like
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
vocal. It's got this like the '70s soul feel that's very distinct, more so than their kind of like deserty funk or soul, whatever you want to call that.
yeah. Well, their drummer, I forget his name. Krung Beans on Instagram.
uh,
But uh, yeah, DJ I think is his either he is a DJ or it's his name or it's both. I fucking forget. But he's such a like after seeing them live and I realized like just how instrumental he is in their whole sound.
yeah,
Because like he's both keeping the beat going and like it's super simple but also just like fucking tactful. Um, and he's also singing like
yeah.
like the guitarist isn't singing at all. It's just Laura Lee and the drummer. They're
Mhm.
doing all the vocal stuff for Krungman. So it's like,
They're so
yeah,
tight too, which is like pretty dope. Like the simplicity of their playing, yet it's so cohesive.
yeah. But you know, we're talking about flightless bands like fucking
Mhm.
Stonefield.
Oh my god.
They're just awesome. I mean, and what's funny is that I didn't even get into Stonefield because of Gizz. Um, like my friend, like so I'm friends with the band the Meat Puppets. They're like an old like 80s 90s. They're still playing, but they've
Definitely.
been around for a long time. And they used to be my favorite band before Gizz, but I met them after a show once, and we hit it off. So like now I'm cool with them. And so I was hiking with with my buddy Elmo, who plays rhythm guitar that in the band. And he was like, "Yeah, dude, when we were playing Australia, we our opening band was this band Stonefield. They're just like four chicks. And like they're really good. You should check them out." And like they toured Australia in like 2014 or 2015, I think. So like
Word.
that's just when Stonefield was like starting out.
Yeah.
Um, and then I come to find that like yeah, Amy Finlay is Cav's fiance, and it's like, oh okay, this just fucking really works out.
Brings it all home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's so weird how everything's just intertwined. But
I remember their set. I saw them at what was it was last year, Asheville, the New Belgium show.
mhm.
Um, and Stonefield's set there was insane, as well as Orb. That was I wasn't really listening to much Orb before that show, but gotten more into them lately.
Yeah, Orb is a band that I want to get into. But like in seeing them, so like I saw them open for Gizz 3 times last year, and
Mhm.
like I just couldn't find myself really digging their sound. Um,
Yeah,
like it's so bizarre because you know during Chunky, you know Zach is playing that little acoustic ditty, and
yeah,
and I fucking love that. Like I definitely recognize they're talented as all hell, but like just I for whatever reason Orb doesn't strike me the same way
yeah.
that like Stonefield and you know like Murlocs, Baked Beans, like all those other Flightless bands hit me.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like Orb's studio sound I like more than their live sound. Like the show is great, but
yeah,
after going back and listening to the records, I've liked them more in particular.
yeah. I've like I noticed that with because like sometimes when I just let Spotify run amok, they'll put on Orb, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I like this song, but like I haven't listened to a full album of theirs all the way through, so like I am totally aware I'm not giving them a completely fair shake, but like I have I have a feeling it comes down to that they don't have they don't have their personal audio guy like Gizz does.
Yeah.
So like their mix is a little suspect. Like they had a few sound issues in LA when they played, and yeah, it was I don't know, like they reminded me of like sort of like a garagey psych band, from like my high school or something. It's because we had some good bands from my school.
That's
But
dope. That's dope.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I think I've totally lost track of time. I have no idea how long we've been going. But
45 minutes ish, maybe.
yeah, that's sort of what it feels like, which is weird because like I don't even pay for Zoom, so I have no idea how they haven't cut off this conversation yet. But like usually I just feel it out like roughly a half hour in is when I'll start to rap, and then yeah. Anyway, yeah. So before I I don't want to just like end abruptly. But what's something that you've been is there anything that you've been listening to recently that you think that they feel like sharing?
Sorry, could you say that last part? Listen to what?
Yeah, is there anything that you've been listening to recently that you feel like sharing with the rest of the I'm not a fan unless I have a podcast audience?
Yeah, I've been listening to those. I have yet to catch the last one that you put out. But yeah, I listened to the fifth one right before this.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, it kind of cut out.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was asking. Are there any?
Oh no.
Are there any?
Internet connection's unstable.
Oh yeah. That'll happen sometimes. I'll just ask one more time. Is there any?
I got you back.
Okay, cool. Are there any new songs or any new bands or any albums that you've been listening to a lot recently that we haven't discussed that you think people of fans of this podcast should check out?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the past podcast, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. It's great, man. So lately been listening to a little bit more like black metal. There's a band called Death Heaven out of San Francisco, and I think they're fucking incredible. So if you like some of that type of music, I would definitely check them out. I recently discovered, and I'm sure most and most of your fans know, the new Murlocs record with Comfort Zone and Spun Gun.
Manic Candid episode. Yeah,
that is such a good record. That's one of the best just straight ahead rock records I've heard in such a long time.
Yeah, the subject matter on that album was just like fucking fitting, and but yeah, just like musically, like that's definitely my favorite Murlocs record. Like that's the one that, especially after watching their KEXP session, like yeah, that got me really into, like I was like, okay, the Murlocs are fucking awesome. Like that really elevated them for me.
Yeah, same. One more person. His name is Will Van Horn. So he's a pedal steel player.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of him.
He's friends with those guys in Khruangbin, and he sat in with them a few times. I'm pretty sure he's been on a few of their records. But he has an EP out. I think it's just called Will Van Horn. If you type in that on Spotify, you'll find it. It's a 5-song EP. Super chill music, like great, like instrumental, relaxing music. Definitely worth checking out. I think you dig it. Yeah, definitely. I fucking love pedal steel. Yeah, it's cool stuff. It really is. Definitely. Dude, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, man. That I fucking envy that you get to live in Nashville and shit. And sorry you're in Kansas City right now, but It's all good. No, it's good being home, seeing family, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, if you
I
ever
just
find
I
yourself
just
in
felt like shitting
Nashville,
on Kansas City.
hey man, Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, World Series champions 2015. I saw you guys win it.
Oh yeah, good time. Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you so much for coming on, man, and
Yeah,
stay
thanks
safe
for
out
having me.
there.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, have a good one.